Hi everyone, welcome back to Nina's Chelsea Corner. Welcome to my channel. If you're new around here, I hope everyone is doing well today. I'm back with another Blues transfer news video as we go through the latest transfer stories. It's been like 3 days since the transfer window has been open and Chelsea seems to be pretty busy already, but we know that business needs to be done ahead of the Club World Cup, which is literally next week. So plenty to go through, lots happening. We're going to talk about Mike Maignan, who is apparently available and interested. We will talk about the latest with that though, because I think, maybe we're a little bit too excited before we actually know just how serious Chelsea are about this negotiation. So we'll find out very soon if that's going to actually happen or not. We have apparently reportedly priced him, or valued him rather, at just 10 million euros. Milan want 25 and they've been pretty firm in their stance, but Chelsea believe because his contract runs out next year, we only really want to pay 10, and if not, then we will move away and close this page of the book. So we will talk about that. We'll talk about Jaden Sancho's exit once again. That loan move won't be prospering into a signing for us, and we will just pay the 5 million and call it a day, call it quits with Sancho. And we will also talk about the reported interest for Mohammed Kudus from West Ham, who has a release clause available to be activated. So yeah, lots to get through, guys. Like this video, comment your thoughts as I go through mine. We will talk about the latest. There's obviously so much happening, so many stories. We know that Chelsea's linked with pretty much everyone and anyone. However, I think for the first time, we all sort of collectively said, this looks like a serious move to go in for Mike Maignan, who is a very established goalkeeper, who has been pretty high up there in terms of goalkeepers. And we know, you guys know, how I feel about our current goalkeeper, number one, Robert Sanchez. And I've always said I would love for us to go in for a goalkeeper, but just judging by how Chelsea has stacked the goalkeeper department in recent years, it just never seemed like it was realistic for me to expect that Chelsea would go in for a goalkeeper, especially this summer. But it did pleasantly surprise us that in fact we are, because of course, Maignan pretty much wants out. Milan have had a pretty terrible season for their standards. They won't be playing in the Champions League, so there is that incentive there to move. He's 29, so I do understand from his perspective why he would want to move to a club that, is playing in Europe, is in the best and most prestigious competition. And yeah, who doesn't want to come to the Premier League, especially to Chelsea? So it was nice to hear that from the player. There was a keen interest there. But from a club perspective, it did seem that we have a pretty strong opinion on the fact that he shouldn't be priced or worth more than 10 million euros, which is a little bit offensive, I think. 25 is not extortionate. It is a perfectly reasonable price tag to place on a goalkeeper, again, of his ability, of his talent, especially when you have to consider what we currently have and whether it's better. What we currently have isn't really better than Mike Maignan in terms of an all-rounder. Robert Sanchez's distribution has been questionable. A lot of you know that I'm not his biggest fan and haven't been for a while. So to me, it just seems like it's a very sensible signing for what Maresca expressed, and from what we heard, he was also keen to upgrade his goalkeeper. Maignan sort of fit that idea and that profile, and someone that he could definitely work with. But it has today been reported, Fabrizio came out and said that Chelsea will only really be interested in him if he could be worth 10, which is, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe good negotiation from their standpoint, because they want to, get the deal, get the best possible deal. But in my opinion, 25 mil is still a very good deal. Nobody's going to raise their eyebrows at it, and nobody's going to talk about it. If we have justified it for wonder kids in these last few years, then surely it can be justified for this one. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not going to be rushed to make quick calls and completely ridicule this this negotiation strategy from Chelsea. However, I do think it could be very daft from our perspective to miss out on this signing because we have been stingy with our money, which we do have available. And again, everyone can get behind it. I think particularly looking at our current goalkeepers, I always said Robert Sanchez might be enough to get us into top 4 just about, but never for anything more than that. And again, next year we are looking to take that extra step of being competitive in the Premier League and have a little bit more to show in terms of goalkeepers. And we know that Petrovic has obviously got a big question mark around his future. I was very much keen to maybe see him come back, but it is going to be decided sort of over the next few days what that goalkeeping situation looks like. But you know, to think that we could have had a Maignan for the Club World Cup and into next season, yeah, that was a pretty exciting prospect that got us all chatting in a good way. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Let me know your thoughts. Are you pretty much thinking, nah, it's not going to happen, it was nice while it lasted for about 16 hours? Or should we just say, relax, don't lose your head yet, maybe we are going to get something out of here? So we'll see how that plays out. But moving on in other news, Jaden Sancho says goodbye to Chelsea. Chelsea will pay the 5 million as was agreed in the clause. It's an interesting one. I've seen this divide opinions among the Chelsea fan base, which surprised me a little bit because I think a lot of people are pretty much set on, yeah, we don't want to sign him. He is okay. He has been good. He's had his moments, but he's also had moments where in great stretches of games, you've pretty much just said either sub him off or he's not doing well, it's not working, and not really worth imagining a future with him. Now, in 42 games, I believe he's had 5 goals and 10 assists, which for a loan move and for a player who's come in and has had a pretty rough time at his previous club, obviously Manchester United. He talked a lot about freedom here at Chelsea, talked a lot about being happy. You could see it as well from his work ethic on the pitch, from his chemistry and strong affinity with the group of players. They all seem to be pretty close friends and have taken Sancho under their wing. But you know, it's not all about that, and it does go to a point where, you know, we need a little bit more consistency in terms of output. You could say that for all our wingers. Some might argue, well, what's Sancho not as good as than some of our other wingers if you wanted to compare, but overall, I think we are looking for a little bit more in that regard. So hopefully we can upgrade. Now, yeah, I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for him because I wish it could have worked out a little bit differently. I still think, though, thank you so much for the memories. And, you know, he scored in the Conference League final. He's had some pretty important goals as well. So if only he had a little bit more confidence to himself, if only he had taken more shots, then perhaps we would have seen a very different Jadon Sancho. But in my books, that is a positive loan spell for him at Chelsea. Personally, I think maybe could have seen a little bit more, but I particularly am content and okay with his display. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But on the subject of wingers, it has been reported, and I'm not too sure how strong these reports really are, so take it with a pinch of salt, but Mohammed Kudus is potentially of interest, as it was made aware that he has an 80 million release clause that can be activated in July. Now, I think maybe last season at this time, loads of people might have said, yep, get on that signing. It is a pretty exciting prospect. Kudus is one that everyone was pretty excited about with his move as well to West Ham, said that he'd be great for them, but he has been quite inconsistent himself. And I just think I asked myself the question, when signing wingers, when bringing in forwards, I want them to at least be a clear upgrade on at least some of our players that we already have. And for me, Kudus just actually fits the category of he's inconsistent, he's got good qualities, he can maybe come good, but he's not someone that comes in and again takes us that extra level there. So it's just one I kind of go meh. And again, for the price that you'd pay, you will definitely have to ask yourself some bigger questions here. And I just don't think that he is something that we as Chelsea really need at this current moment. But again, keen to find out your thoughts. But it seems like we are getting busy. Obviously, we know Liam Delap is pretty much done deal. We're just waiting for the announcement from the club. It's 30 million. Again, I pretty much think it's low risk. You're not losing out on much money. Let's see how he does. I was pretty skeptical about just him coming in, and I still hope that it's not just him coming in. But I'm certainly more open-minded about him and what he can do. I think it's just always nice to have, you know, inject the side with fresh legs, new faces, see how they hit the ground running. I think that's probably one of the most exciting things, isn't it? Seeing where everyone kind of moves around and who fits where. But we should also expect a lot of news on outgoings. I think right now we're just looking to obviously bring in players and strengthen for our tournament in the Club World Cup. So it's going to be pretty intense, going to be pretty busy, but it does seem like Chelsea is moving a little bit more reserved in terms of splashing the cash, and I understand that, but I don't understand it to an extent where 15 million is so important to you that we turn away from a player like Mike Maignan. I think that's the one that I can't understand, because I've been crying out for a great goalkeeper. We've been having good goalkeepers. We've been having very, very disappointing goalkeepers, but how comfortable do you feel with just going in with a Robert Sanchez and a Jorgensen next year, or perhaps a Petrovic? But to me, you know, they're going to try and sell the goalkeeper that could generate the most money, and you'd probably argue Petrovic gets more. So that concerns me a little bit, but we'll see how this plays out, guys. Lots more to come, obviously. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and you'd like to stick around to talk transfers with me and discuss the latest news. Again, thank you so much to everyone who supported me and helped me get to 8,000 subscribers. That's pretty cool. On the road to 10 now, so yeah, it's a pretty exciting time. Lots happening, lots to talk about, guys. But thanks so much for all your support. Again, if you'd like to follow my social media, I'm on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. All of that is in the description down below, so give me a follow. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll be back very soon with some more transfer news. Take care and have a lovely week.